In the future of medical billing, artificial intelligence plays a very vital role. In today's world, AI has evolved a lot. There are certain processes in medical billing that can be automated. By adding artificial intelligence flavor to it, you can really achieve huge gains there. My name is Raja, and I'm the CEO of Wise Medical Billing. My journey into healthcare industry really stems from personal and professional experiences that I had over the period of time. While during my early career, while I was working for medical billing providers very closely, I've noticed practice owners being great at patient care. However, they are overwhelmed with administrative tasks. They have to manage their financials, their administrative work related to the practice that really hinders the patient care part. That really helped me get into this arena to make sure if we can solve these problems for small, medium-sized practices, that's going to be a huge help. And primarily, my corporate background while I was working for Fortune 500 organization, that really helped me align my skill set, my expertise into the management, leadership, and how processes can be improved. That's how I get into this niche and started helping healthcare providers in the industry.
Okay, fabulous. So what initially drew you to the industry?
Primarily, where I've noticed there are long wait times when you visit provider offices. And why this is there, this is just because of some inefficiencies in the process. That's number one. I've had such experiences multiple times, and this is one of the major gap, just not I have witnessed, but many others are currently facing as well. And secondly, healthcare is something very close to my heart, where that really drives me, especially selecting this industry, this niche, where I can utilize my expertise and skills to really improve the healthcare practices by improving the processes and how the practice can be managed, how revenue cycles can be managed in an efficient way. And that's how get really influenced me to get in there.
So you take on a lot of the administrative tasks for the company so they can focus on patient health and growing their company, and you take on that space, do you?
Absolutely. So the way we actually work is the way we work with practice owners is just about having a team which is closely working hand in hand, who is just not part of just managing one side of the billing and just process your claims. But the way we approach it, it's a kind of a model where we identify what are your problems, what are your pain points, and what are the gaps there. And by identifying these gaps, we really get into it, evaluate, analyze, and come up with a tailored solution that help medical practices to thrive. For example, it's just not in the revenue management cycle, there are multiple things that has to be taken care of. Apart from revenue cycle management, we also help practice owners to identify business inefficiencies, just not in the billing side, but at a business level as well. What needs to be improved operationally, and we kind of help them to improve their operations as a whole.
Great. So you help them with your expertise and you help manage their company as well. So they've got really a win-win. They've got the revenue side and they've also got workflow operations management, which is great. Fantastic. So how's the medical billing space changed since you first started?
This has transformed a lot, to be honest, with an introduction CMS, which is Centers of Medicare and Medicaid. This is one of the regulatory body that really regulate the processes, the compliance part, how a medical practice is supposed to be managed and run. And over the period of time, lots of practices has really improved with the inclusion of technology and state-of-the-art technology. In today's age, artificial intelligence also played a very vital role to improve the processes there. I can see there's a paradigm shift already happening in the space that is a core requirement for medical practices really adopt those changes, to adopt the technology, and really move forward with the clear plans to maximize your revenues.
Great. So, how do you think that companies are doing with adapting to new technologies? Do you feel like they are coming forward with it all, or are they a bit reserved with adding these new technologies to their companies?
That's really a great question, Emma. So primarily the way I see that, there is a resistance to the change. This is natural. That's okay.
Yeah.
However, it is really important to make sure we adopt that change. I mean, being a business owner, being a practice owner, this is important to realize how crucial it is to adopt these changes. So broadly speaking, majority of the cases we are too far away from adopting that change. What does that really mean? There are practices who are still going through manual processes. They are processing their claims manually instead of electronically. That essentially means we are not following the right practices, which is supposed to be there. And such practices really help you not only manage your operations in an efficient manner, but also really improve your revenues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that a lot of, like you said, a lot of people are more resistant to change. But once the change happens, they welcome it with open arms. They're really happy by it. But it is difficult, obviously, to change initially. So I can understand that. So it's great that you're helping them work towards a more efficient way of operating their business. So what are some of the biggest challenges medical providers face with billing today?
In revenue cycle management, I would consider there are three major challenges any practice owners are facing today. One of the biggest challenge practice owners are facing today is outdated processes. They typically rely on such processes where they do the manual processing of the claims. I just mentioned earlier, they still use the spreadsheets to manage their accounts receivable. They're chasing claim denials manually by calling the payers and checking the status. Considering the fact we have technologies available, we have tools available that can be leveraged and automate some of these processes to get the efficiency. Second challenge is really a lack of transparency in performance metrics. What does that really mean? For any business or any medical practice, you have standard key performance indicators that you should be following that describe what is the status of your current business. So, for example, what is your current denial rate? If it is, whether it is less than 5% or it is really above that. If it is less than that, you're really doing great. Another key example of KPI is checking out your first pass resolution rate, at what rate your claims are getting accepted and paid in first go without getting any denial from the payer's end. Another KPI really talks about assessing your reimbursement per claim level and per CPT level, really. And what is your net revenues? What are your gross margins looks like? What is your gross collection looks like? These are multiple KPIs every practice owner should be mindful about. Third major challenge I can see in this industry is really providers, especially the practice owners, wearing multiple hats. What does that really mean is you being a practice owner, you got to take care of the patients, you are an HR person, do the hiring part for your practice, for your team. You got to do the administration stuff. You are responsible for your financials. You got to manage your operations. So really small practices do not have that much leverage and budgets to manage all these things. So these are the three core challenges I have witnessed specifically in this arena.
Have you noticed that some of the companies that you're working with have felt like when you've come in and taken the billing side off them, that they've been able to grow, they've been able to excel more because they don't have that extra task that they need to fulfill?
There are many such stories that really talks about how we have transformed the life of a practice owners. The real problem is, as I mentioned earlier, was where a practice owners do not have lots of leverage to manage all these departments. So medical billing is a core department. Your revenues are primarily dependent on a billing team because this is huge. It has to be managed efficiently. You
Yeah.
have to have a right biller in place, right, who are certified, who have the right skill set, and the management on top of it, who is just not overseeing the
Mm.
other practice operations, but the core billing operations as well. We have really witnessed game-changing results where practice owners used to have a one biller or a couple of billers working for them in-house. These billers were just maybe doing the billing, but not chasing the claims. What that ends up to be higher accounts receivable, higher aging of your claims, inconsistent cash flows. So that really disrupt any business. When we get into the picture, we have a very clear approach of managing these things. We follow the set rules, processes. Our process really stems around three major areas. It revolves around people, your processes, and the tools. It has to be a combination of all these three. You have the right team in place, skilled individuals in place. You have right management on top of them who just not look into the inefficiencies, identify the red flags, and getting it done in a proactive manner instead of chasing it later on. It has to be combined with the processes that has to be efficient, regulated, compliant. Thirdly, the tools are playing a very crucial role there that really help practice owners to do the charting in an efficient manner. Your EHR systems, your practice management systems has to be efficient. So broadly, these three elements are the core for any practice to thrive there.
Okay, great. So, how do you ensure compliance in such a heavily regulated space?
It's a great question, and you cannot survive without being compliant because you are dealing with sensitive data. It's highly regulated. So for any billing company, I mean, for us, for example, we are ISO certified, we are HIPAA compliant. There is one major certification considered in healthcare industry is SOC 2 certification, SOC 2 level 2 certification that explains your processes are in place, you are HIPAA compliant, your procedures are aligned, your IT protocols are completely secured, and you are certified by an authority after they conduct their audits. In order to have all these compliance parameters in place, you really have to have certified auditors audit your compliance and certify you on that. So that's how it is important to have such certifications before you initiate your business.
Okay, great. That's great. So, what's one common conception people have about medical billing?
One common misconception about medical billing is people believe this is a simple data entry process. However, it's not. It is complex. It requires technical skills, knowledge to process the claim and get your claim paid. For example, when we are finalizing a claim, you have to have coding understanding, medical coding understanding as per ICD-10 coding system. That's just not a data entry process. It is a certification. There are certified coders who go through a complete coursework and exam to get the certification, to get skills at. That's number one. Similarly, many other processes within billing side, how the procedure codes can be aligned, the modifiers has to be aligned with the procedures, your alignment of the procedures within while creating a claim. Apart from that, when you are chasing the payments, what exactly needs to be speak to chase the payments, you really gotta follow up with the payers, understanding what are the codes which got paid and denied. And if denied, what are the reasons? So you take real steps to overcome those denials and get that claim paid. At the same time, you learn from your mistakes, take proactive measures, and prevent such mistakes happening in the future. So that's how I would consider it's just not a simple process, but it really requires right skills and expertise to really flourish in this particular industry.
Yeah, sure. So, what type of healthcare practices do you typically work with?
Wise medical billing deals with a range of specialties. It's mental health practices, your internal medicine, urology, podiatrist, ambulatory surgical centers, wound care centers, the OBGYN, your cardiac. So there are multiple specialties we are dealing with at the moment. We have resources available to really understand the complexities of each specialty, and that's how we are specialized in specific set of specialties, and we are catering our clients accordingly.
Okay, fantastic. So, how do you help your clients recover lost revenue or improve
This
their
is
cash flow?
this is one of the important question. One of the major pain point for any practice owner is inconsistent cash flows and less revenues. So we help practice owners to, first of all, we really take the root cause analysis approach. We get on a call, we discuss what are the major issues that leads towards inconsistent cash flows or less revenues. We identify what are those processes that really require improvement. We audit those processes and financial reports at the time of onboarding to really assess what are the leakages there. Once that assessment is done, we come up with a detailed audit report where we talk about in your overall processes, we have noticed like XYZ areas that require improvements. And we come up with a tailored strategy specific to the practice, specific to the specialty, and apply that strategy with the close coordination between the billing team and the practice to come up with the strategy, implement that strategy, and start getting the results. See, every business has a very clear blueprint. Every blueprint in any business really talks about what exactly you need to do in order to achieve the results. So we simply implement best practices and get the results.
Okay, great. So, what role does customer service play in your business, especially when they're dealing with frustrated practices and patients?
Having an efficient customer support team is crucial there. At one side, you gotta really deal with your clients, practice owners who are busy into lots of things. Their practice managers are managing the practice, and once they have any question related to the billing, and there are multiple questions every day, this has to be a very rapid conversation and communication between both the teams. Generally, practice owners and the staff face long hold, IVRs, delayed email responses. How we really tackle such situations? We build a communication channel. We are just a text away, and our clients get response within 5 to 10 minutes. If some task really takes more time, we acknowledge their query. We get back to them with an estimated time frame. The query is going to be resolved, and your emails are answered promptly as well. There are dedicated account managers who take care of client communication and answering, making sure they are getting what they need from the billing side. Secondly, another communication and the support is really from the payer standpoint, because this is one of the process where once you submit the claims, you got to chase the claim as well. You gotta speak with the payers to see what is the status of the claims. If there are any complexities, you gotta understand the reasons behind it and how those issues can be resolved. You have to have a clear understanding, knowledge while you communicate with the payers and understand their perspective as well. So that's how our customer support team, peer support team, and the client support teams plays a vital role to make sure we are not keeping any gaps, and we stay on top of the process so it remain efficient.
Okay, great. So, where do you see AI playing a role in the future of medical billing?
In the future of medical billing, artificial intelligence plays a very vital role. In today's world, AI has evolved a lot. There are certain processes in medical billing that, number one, that can be automated. By adding artificial intelligence flavor to it, you can really achieve huge gains there. With the help of these AI tools, they read the information and come up with the precise outcome in the form of medical codes that has to be applied. In this scenario, AI plays a vital role by reading those notes and coming up with an appropriate code that has to be applied in the claim. That's just one example. I mean, another example I can talk about was charge entry process is really collecting, gathering all the demographic information of the patient at the back end, appropriate use of codes, modifiers, and lots of other details, which are generally a part of the claim, like for form that is actually submitted into the payers. Generally, these processes can be easily automated and you get more efficiencies around it. And I would say one of the biggest gain with the help of artificial intelligence and automation is the resource saving and quality improvement in your work.
Definitely. Okay, so what's next for your business in the next 1 to 3 years? Where do you see it going?
Wise Medical Billing as a company, we are aiming to expand our outreach to multiple states as compared to where we are operating at the moment. We cover the East Coast, we cover the Pacific Coast, we have few clients in Central Coast, we have few clients in Central region as well. However, we wanted to increase the outreach, geographical outreach, as well as specialty wise, we will expand our portfolio by covering more specialties so we can also help those providers which are not really in our domain, but they can also get services and flourish their businesses. We play a vital role by offering resources and expertise to manage their practice in a better way.
That's great. So for those that are listening and that want to follow your work, where can they find you?
I can be found on LinkedIn. That's the platform I use every day very regularly. Happy to have a chat around your practice related issues and concerns and helping you with the solutions that can be implemented to really improve your practice. And another platform is our company website, wisemedicalbilling.com. Feel free to reach out and happy to connect.
Great. Okay, great. Well, it's a pleasure speaking to you, Raja, about your company, and we loved having you on the show today.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you for having me. It was really a pleasure catching up with you today.